I'm Mikel Bowie, and you're listening to the Cavalier Connection podcast.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Cavalier Connection podcast. I'm your host, Jack Lowe, joined as always by Jay Ballard and my dad, Jeff Lowe. Tonight we will be talking about the state of the men's basketball season, a busy week in the transfer portal with some nice pickups and a departure. And we will be doing some more NFL picks playoff edition. Should I say award-winning. Jay, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, doing great, Jack. Doing great. Lots to talk about. As we start doing these podcasts more and more, this is episode 8. You start to, when something happens, you're like, man, I want to go talk about it right now. So it's been a while, like a week. We're recording about, one episode a week right now and lots to talk about. So ready to go.
Yep, Dad.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll be watching the basketball game and I'm ready to go live. I need to go live to discuss what I'm seeing.
Yes.
And some of my disappointments. The only thing we got is the old X or Twitter.
Yeah.
Feelings out there, which nobody cares about.
Right.
But it's my therapy.
Yes, sir, indeed. Well, I believe we should just hop right into basketball. Terrible loss again Saturday. Just Saturdays, they have not been in our favor the last 2 Saturdays. Really, you could say the last 3 Saturdays if you go all the way back to Northeastern. NC State, we take a 16-point loss. We seemed to fight really well in that first little bit of the game, but then they just took it away. And Blake Buchanan just getting bullied by Burns, I think his last name was.
Yeah.
When we got to a point in the second half, it was just seemed pretty evident that UVA didn't have a prayer, guys. Jay?
Yeah, that was really disappointing. Do you remember what my final score prediction was?
I saw you were 2 points off. I don't remember. It was, 74?
I had 74-60 NC State, and the final was 76-60.
Yeah, I think you should just not make any predictions for the rest of the year. You obviously multiple times, NFL, UVA. You've been screwed by a miss of a couple points more than once this year.
I'd rather be wrong, though. In these instances, it's painful. As you said, we came out and we fought really hard out of the gate. I think we were ahead at the first TV timeout, the second TV timeout. And then about at the under 8 is when it kind of started to get away. And then for about the last 5 minutes, it really got away from us. And, looking at the stats, you would think that Isaac, my guy IMAC, had a good game, 18 points, 4 of 7 from three-point land, 6 of 13 overall from the field. Ryan Dunn was 7 of 9 from the floor. He even made a three-pointer. He had 16. But a lot of those were what I would call empty points. The game was pretty much decided. Those points, they look good on the stats sheet, but they're not doing a lot for keeping the game close.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes unnoticed that is considered off the stat sheet that you don't see. Whether it's good things or bad things, there seem to be a lot of them, a lot of bad ones this game.
Yeah, and I was honestly, this is one of the first times I can say in a long time anyway that I just didn't understand what Coach Bennett's I don't understand what he's seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And really not just what he's seeing, but his thought process. Because as we've said in other episodes, the transfer portal is a real deal. That is a real live thing that you have to worry about. And, we took the red shirt off Gertrude. He got 8 minutes in this game, and they were all late.
Mm-hmm.
Bond only got
way over.
Yeah, it was over. Bond got 4 minutes. Again, way late. But then even you look at a guy like Groves, who's been playing really well, and I know he didn't have his best game Saturday, but daggone, he didn't give it 12 minutes. Mm-hmm. And it's not like he was in foul trouble. And you can't tell me, well, it's because he's not as athletic as some of the guys on State, because if that was the case, you'd have been playing Bond and Gertrude instead of Tane and Rhodey. So it was really confusing to me. I don't know, Jeff, what did you see?
Yeah, the rotation I was very confused about. And I mean, I know we started Buchanan for his size, but I mean, he's just a twig, unfortunately, compared to Burns. And I think the double team was coming a little bit too early on Burns, and Burns was, to his credit, finding the open man. And I mean, as a team, I feel like every week we give up so many threes from that corner, wide, the shortest three on the floor. And I mean, they were lighting us up. First, 10, 15 minutes we hung with them. They had that one when the shot clock was,
Oh
they had
my.
1 second to shoot from half court. When that banked in, from
Yeah,
that moment on, there was
it was
no
over.
looking back for them. Beatman is the only player I thought played well. He had a double double. Like you said, IMAX points, they're empty points. They were when the game didn't matter. And I was just surprised about the Gertrude and Bond and Bennett. Coach Bennett, I think when you're struggling, I mean, people are saying, TV analysts, that his lack of trust in the young freshmen against that kind of a pressure and that environment. But this is the thing: what he trusted wasn't working. So let's make a move early on while we still within shouting distance, and see Gertrude's not scared at the moment. I can tell you
Absolutely
that.
not.
Now, whether he turns the ball over, he might turn the ball over twice, but he might make two spectacular plays too. I mean, there's nothing to lose. And Tane Murray played 18 minutes, which surprised me. And Rhodey, I think he was 3 turnovers, 1 for 7 from the floor or something like that.
Yeah, that was probably his worst game. I don't even know statistically. I'm looking it up now. 2 points, 3 turnovers, 2 assists, 3 boards, in 31 minutes.
I was about to say,
from the
31
floor.
minutes.
Yeah, 0 for 3 from 3-point land. He just didn't look good at all. I don't, he didn't offer anything. And I know Gertrude's outside shooting is I'm going to say it's pretty poor, to be honest. Even his form doesn't look good. But he can at least get to the rim and slash and things like that. Rhodey is a good passer. I'll give him that. And I think he can be a good shooter, when he's having a good day. But to this point, our team has not shown the ability to go on the road and have a good day. Not one time.
We're 0-3 on the road, on true road games this year, and it's not just 0-3. We're losing by, that was as close as we've been on the road.
It's
And that
bad.
was 16, 14,
It's
something
been
like
some
that.
bad losses.
We were down 20. That game was over. Another thing that in the rhythm of the offense that I just think we do a little too much of is pump faking. Like, catch the ball and shoot. Like, you got a wide open shot, and it's like guys get a little nervous, then they pump fake, then they got to pass.
Same thing
Pump
with
fake, then we end
McNeely
up
too.
taking. What's that?
Like McNeely's passing the ball too. He's just got to take some of those shots, I think.
Some of them, he's just got to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
He can jump out of the gym. Jump up. You got a great form and shoot it. Bro, shoot the ball. There was somebody else I'm trying to think that was in my brain.
Rose passes up those threes quite often.
All
he
the
does
time.
too.
It's like a pump fake
And the
every
worst
time.
Yeah, the worst thing about it is they pass it up sometimes, and a lot of times they will dribble into traffic
Right.
and then shoot a contested 2-point jumper, which is the worst shot in basketball.
Right.
Either you want to take the open 3 or you want to lay up. Those long 2s are the worst shot you can take.
Right. No, we're ending up getting bad shots, and off the pump fakes. I know the offense, you pass on one shot to get a better shot, but man, some of these shots are great looks. I know it's earlier in the shot clock, but if you're open, you're a shooter, take the shot. And the pump fake, there's no rhythm. There's no rhythm. And I mean, I think that's killing us. A lot of empty stats in that game. Beatman's the only stat line that I felt like was a legitimate stat line.
Yeah.
NC State made threes left and right.
The kid who banked in that long one that we were just talking about, interesting enough, his sister went to UVA. He's from Richmond.
Right.
And apparently we never talked to him.
Yeah. And he's not happy.
Yeah,
He
wasn't. He said he wanted an offer, which I don't know his academics. They could be reasons he didn't.
Right.
But
some unwritten stuff.
yeah, I mean, but still, it's surprising that we win a national championship. We got a guy who's in state, right down the road, basically in Richmond.
I'll be honest. It's got to be academic. Because I mean,
That's
I hate to call NC State out, but their academic requirements are towards the bottom of the ACC. It's
Yeah.
not. It's a big difference between NC State and Virginia's enrollment process. But I don't
Wake
know.
Forest is coming up Saturday.
Yeah.
What
Well,
do
I
you
don't know
think?
if do you think something's happening in practice with Gertrude and like Bond? Like I don't understand it. But the thing is, it does this very often. And like you said, that transfer portal is real. And I'd rather have a homegrown person. I mean, if we're going to lose, let's lose with our guys and let them get to work, and hopefully they'll develop. Then lose the player, and in you get somebody in who's got a year of eligibility. You don't know what you're going to get. I thought Minor in his limited time on Saturday, he looked all right, and I feel like that's another one they could have went to with the trouble and with the size with Burns.
Oh,
At least,
yeah.
mhm.
at least he can. He's stocky. He can at least put a body on that guy.
Right.
And really, all you gotta do is put a body on him and beat him a little bit. He's gonna fatigue out. Like he can't run up and down the court like a lot of these other guys are. You gotta just put Minor in there and foul him a couple times. I
Yeah.
mean, just
Yeah. If you're not gonna play him
Contact.
anyways.
Lean on him. Like I'm sitting here watching NC State Carolina right now, and I'm having I just know Baycott's going to score 25 and have 25 boards.
God knows. He always gets us for 15, 20 rebounds
Yeah,
anyway.
it's going to be just sick.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Wake Forest coming up, and I was looking at Wake Forest's team. I watched them play Saturday against. They beat
Virginia
Clemson.
Tech. Oh.
No, Virginia. No.
They beat Virginia Tech recently. I don't know if that's the game you're talking
No,
about.
Saturday in overtime they came back and beat. Who did they play on Saturday?
I'm
Miami.
checking for you right now.
They beat Miami.
I think it was Miami.
Yep,
Yeah.
it was.
And but if you look at Wake Forest's team, they've got 3 guys averaging 2 are over 17 and 18, and one's averaging 16.9. And you look at Virginia, we got 3 guys averaging double figures, but at a high, I think it's Beekman's like maybe 12.9 a game. And they've got 4 averaging in double figures. So they can score. I think they average 80-some points a game. Not a big rebounding team. I think they were ranked the 200s on that. So hopefully that's helpful for us. But going to Wake Forest, another road game. Only thing we can hope is maybe we got a week off. We've had a week off. Tony, you get something. Get something figured out with this team.
And he's been working on things, I'm sure, and we'll probably see some different things than we've seen previously, I'd imagine. There's not but so much you can change in January.
Yeah.
I mean, we are who we are.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see Saturday going well. I don't even with a week, even with Tony.
Right.
I will not be. I'd be shocked if it was closer than the 16 at NC State. To be honest, I mean, and I know people, listening we're supposed to be Virginia homers, I guess. We're Virginia fans, but you got to call it like you see it. And Wake Forest is a team on the rise. I think they're a sleeper to win the conference.
They just lost last night?
They lost last night to I just had it. It must have been. I'm checking for you right now. They lost to Florida State by 5 points.
Yeah, that's a bad loss.
They had won 10 games in a row coming into that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I was watching.
They were rolling.
I was watching the coaches show and they had told Bennett, if they, assuming they win that game, because that was kind of the assumption, they'd be on a 10-game winning streak going into Saturday. So you think you're going to get a team now? You're going to get a team that's angry, who's playing at home.
When are we going to get angry?
Yeah, really. I was gonna say, what if they come out like us?
Gentlemen,
They lose a game and all of a sudden they can't figure it out.
So the one thing I think this team is lacking that other teams have had is a vocal leader. like Beatman is the team leader, but really he's kind of a laid back
He's not
personality.
vocal.
You have Malcolm Brogdon's, the Joe Harris's, Ty Jerome, man. He loved to go on the road and like
Mhm.
shut the crowd up. Cal Guy, they just ate
London
that stuff up. They
Broncos.
weren't scared of those venues. And
And
this
even a
team,
guy like Diakite,
yeah,
there's
Oh
that
yeah.
meme out there where he's in the
He'd be
guy's face.
angry. Like in that
Yeah.
I forget which game it was in the tournament. It must have been
oh yeah.
man, I don't know. It
I
must have
know
been the
from
round of 32 or Sweet
I,
16.
I tell you who else, and this is not my favorite guy. Well, this is really Jay's not Jay's favorite guy, but Kihei Clark.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Like,
Yeah.
he's out there, and we need somebody who's willing to get into somebody's face and like not scared of him. Say what you want about Kihei, go to the basket and he'll get his shot blocked 3 times, but the dude will go back and end up somehow getting some crazy shot to go when the game's on the line or going to the foul line, or it's just something with the player leadership on the team. I don't see it. I think Ivac could be that guy, but I just haven't seen it from him.
No, he still
I don't
seems
see a
like
leader.
I feel like he's playing like he's a freshman still, where he's just kind of sitting back and letting everyone else just doing whatever he's told, not really being a vocal leader. I feel like he can be that guy though. I think he can be that guy. He's just got to step up.
He might be able to be, but sometimes you can't just become that person. You're either that person or you're not. I don't think we have him. I don't think that person's on the roster.
Yeah, it seems like we're lacking that. I don't want to say mental toughness, but it is required when you go on the road. You know they're going to make runs. Even if you come out and play 10, 15 minutes of good basketball, eventually they're going to make some shots.
Right.
And if you're not mentally tough, and you're not going to survive on the road. And again, Tony can't. I don't think you can fix that.
Yeah.
You can play sound basketball, and you can try different things to game plan. But when the crowd's in your ear and shots are going against you, you play really good defense. They hit a shot clock, buzzer beater. It's hard to come back down, and then you make a turnover, and then they make another 3, and you don't stop the bleeding, and all of a sudden it's a 5-point game. Now it's 15, right. And we don't have the team that can come back from that type of deficit routinely. Maybe here or there, 1 or 2, but on the road, we're not doing it at all.
And that's something with that 2019 team with Ty Jerome,
yes.
They could make runs. They were offensively very strong, and we just don't got that. It seems like.
But I was gonna say that's why Ty Jerome is one of my favorite players of all time. Because that guy, he's a dog, and he didn't care. He loved to stick it to Duke or on the road and stick.
When he hit the 3-pointer and gave him the finger.
We went on the road with those teams. I mean, even when we, the years we didn't get out of the first round or whatever, we went on the road during those seasons, and we won on the road all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I don't know.
I don't feel confident
anymore.
anymore.
On the road's coming.
Yeah, no.
I don't see one on the schedule. I honestly don't see one on the schedule. And we're now on the Lenardi's outside looking in, first 4 teams out. So
yeah,
I would say this team it's got a lot of work in front of them if they want to make the tournament.
A whole lot of work. Well, we got Forest, and then we got Virginia Tech at home next week.
Virginia Tech is big. They got to get that win bad.
Dear God, hopefully. Did they win tonight, Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech.
They were ahead last I saw by like 9 with maybe 5 or 6 minutes left. So
they were 10 at halftime or something like that, I think, maybe.
Yeah, they were.
Virginia Tech, they won by 15 to Clemson. That's a good win, too. That was at home, but...
It was in the Castle. It doesn't shock me.
Yeah, the Castle's a tough.
What's shocking is Louisville beat Miami tonight in Miami.
They didn't
explain that
71.
one.
Doesn't make any sense, but that's what Miami does in all sports, football and basketball.
I will never once believe that Miami will be good when they are preseason ranked inside the top 15. It's inside the top 20, I'll say. And I know I can't say much. I'm a UVA fan, but I mean they get crazy hype every single year, and it never ever since the early 2000s, the 90s, I might be missing something in the
Yeah,
2010s.
late '90s they had some.
They had a
national
run
title
then, but
football.
ever since then, every single year they get ranked inside the top 10, and it never seems to pan out. But
Polls are gonna be-
I'll give a positive tidbit on UVA basketball. Our attendance has been good.
yeah, they got sold out for Virginia Tech. I don't know if you all saw.
I think in all honesty, I think we're top 15 nationally in attendance, which is pretty good because considering, a lot of those games are against subpar.
We haven't had many big games at home.
We haven't had. It's not like Duke's coming in and we're selling out. Like it's top 15 nationally for attendance is pretty dang good.
Well, we sold out for Morgan State officially.
Right.
But again, you said a positive, the sky not falling type thing here. So yesterday, Purdue, number 1 on the country, goes on the road to Nebraska, who's not a great team and loses by 16.
Right.
The number 2 team lost last night as well.
Kansas?
They lost tonight. 1 through 3 have lost this week, and they lost on the road at Central Florida, which was playing at the Amtrak Arena where the Magic play. So, road wins are hard to come by regardless.
Seems to be a big thing this year, apparently.
There's a college basketball. I don't know what to make of it. It's wide open this year.
Even the ACC, we've seen a lot of ACC. I think Notre Dame was on the road last week when they ended up losing, I think, at the end. We were talking about them almost upsetting whoever
NC
it was. NC State, that's right.
Right, yeah.
And that was in NC State, wasn't it? Or,
they were up on NC State. They ended up losing that game by 2.
NC State.
Yeah. But Notre Dame did beat Georgia Tech last night at Georgia Tech.
So that's what, I guess that's just the thing this year. I don't know.
Duke went to Georgia Tech and lost. Right. So it's like you just throw your hands up.
And then Duke beat Pitt last night by like 25.
So it makes you wonder: are all the other teams just thinking the fans bases are thinking the same thing? If we're playing on the road, we're just not going to win.
Probably a good number of them are.
Probably not to an extent that we are.
And Virginia has one of the longest winning streaks at home in the nation right now. I want to say it's like 19 games in a row or something. It's a long winning streak at home. It's one of the longest.
Those years when we were rolling and winning all them road games in the 2019s, 2018, 2017s, I mean, that just doesn't happen this year at all.
No.
I mean, those years, if we could put something together like that, you're a top 5 team.
I was going to say, how many national championships will we have if you put some of those teams, like the team that lost to Michigan State, and I think that's a national championship.
In the Sweet 16 or second round.
Even the UMBC, that team was incredible. It seemed, but
of course, what might have been if our guys would have come back for one more year in 2020.
Oh man, I'll tell you.
Cal guys overseas. Hey, Jerome did a little bit with the Warriors.
He did some with the Heat too, didn't he?
He's on a roster.
He's on a roster somewhere. I can't remember where now.
Is it Golden State now?
I know he was on Golden State. I don't know if he still is.
Who's that?
Ty Jerome.
Or Cleveland.
Ty Jerome's with Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah.
Yeah, he's in Cleveland. And then DeAndre Hunter, he's had a solid career. I would have come out for sure as Hunter because that was a bad draft year, and there's no way he gets drafted there in most draft years.
Mm-hmm.
If those guys would have come back, we could have maybe a back-to-backer right there.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was kind of cinematic though, them all leaving after that year. But I liked what you said Saturday about the unbelievable documentary always coming on ACC Network every time UVA is playing. It's always on before they play. I mean, any other ACC fans got to be annoyed with that, as you said, and I just think it's hilarious. That was 4 years ago now.
Most un-Virginia
5 years ago.
The most un-Virginia-like way to win a national championship.
And you look at it because you got your Dukes and Carolinas. It's like, what national title are we going to pick to look at? We got one. But ours was a special one.
Okay, I will always stand on that hill. Ours was one of the most special national championships in all of NCAA basketball, I think, in my opinion. But
it has to be. When you lose to 16,
quite literally the only team to ever lose to a 16 seed, and you come back firing and you win a national championship. That's That's a redemption story right there.
Yeah,
That's your
absolutely.
that's your Tiger Woods going to win the Masters right there.
Yeah.
All right, so starting out with some of the portal news, we got Say Jennis, a tight end out of Clemson. Kempton Shine out of Eastern Michigan, 6-foot corner. Jamarion Jam Jackson, another corner. Previously added Kendron Smith, 2-time All-Ivy League corner. And Gavin Frakes, the quarterback we talked about last week out of New Mexico State. Jay, why don't we hear some of your thoughts about the portal news?
Yeah, I was super excited to get all of those guys into the program. They all come with their different positive attributes. We needed another tight end to go with Neville, another portal tight end addition. That room, it was pretty thin. I think Neville will be the receiving tight end, and I think Ennis will be the blocking tight end and 2 tight end sets there. But we really needed secondary help. We lost a lot of guys in the secondary, and to the coaches' credits, they've rebuilt the entire secondary, really. And with some guys that, while they're from smaller schools, they've got some pedigree. You know, you look at Kempton Shine, and he was All MAC second team last year. Jam Jackson, I'm just going to go with Jam rather than the
I like
real
Jam.
first name.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Easier
Jam
to
for a
say.
corner, especially for a corner. He better be playing tight man.
Oh,
Don't let him breathe,
That's
Jeff.
right.
Don't let him breathe.
yeah.
But Phil Steele, who's one of my favorite guys to look at, and read, had him as a third team FCS freshman All American. So I mean, super impressive there. He's got 3 years left to come in and hopefully shine for us. And that, going with another corner that we had gotten, we talked a little bit about previously. Another All Ivy League, 2-time All Ivy League, 6'1", and Kendron Smith. And I mean, you got these guys, and they've all talked about wanting to get to the next level. And they're big corners, which, a lot of times in today's game, you get a lot of jump balls. I love seeing the bigger corners, 6 foot to 6'2", with a lot to play for. One of the things that Kempton Shine talked about was he didn't care about the facilities. He didn't care about this, that, or the other. He just wanted to go to a place he could play and have the best chance to get to the NFL. So super excited to get those guys and look forward to and having them in the program. Jeff?
Yeah. Excited to get them, see what they do on the field for us. I like that Jam Jackson out of Robert Morris. Phil Steele's, he's like the guru for college recruiting. He's the college guru. And he had, third team All American, freshman All American, and 3 years of eligibility left. He's a big boy, 6'2" at corner. Man. I like that a lot. I like the nickname Jam. Let's jam him up at the line. You want to throw that little fade route in the end zone? Let's go pick it off.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exciting. Those are both. We got a 6'2" corner and a 6-foot corner. And a 6'1" corner. So, and that's a lot of size out there. I wonder how fast they are. But
one of the things that I noticed, I was doing a little research on Shine because he was the last one. I'm pretty sure it was him and not Jam. He was the leading solo tackler on his team.
Oh gosh,
from the corner spot.
That's crazy.
That's really impressive.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I said it a few weeks ago. It really does make me excited for football season, and we are so far away. But I'm ready to see this team go back out there and play again. I mean, I tell you what, I've been very impressed with Tony Elliott and the whole coaching staff with getting all these guys in here. And it's not like we're getting any transfers. We're getting solid quality transfers. A lot of 3-stars and aboves out of high school. Just very impressive process by him and the coaching staff, in my opinion. I'm really excited to go see him play.
At positions of need too. It's
Yeah,
not just
I was just
we're getting guys.
Because the corners,
We're getting
we weren't going to have any
positions.
corners, any good corners, that was, it seemed like. And so
Yeah.
and we got the tight end problem fixed too. I mean, it's
Now
gonna be
those are
interesting.
1 year fixes, so
Yeah,
you're gonna be in the portal
still got to
again
bring
next.
in recruits. Still got to bring in some more next year. But overall,
The recruiting job is it's a lot more to it. I mean, a college coach's job is tough
hmm
because you're recruiting out of high school. Now you got the whole transfer portal. You got to keep your own, try to keep your own guys. You got to re-recruit your guys about every year. Plus, you're going out in the portal. You're looking for positions of need. You're recruiting out in the high schools. Plus, you know you got to do things out in the community. I mean, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, I just won a national title. I'm going NFL.
oh yeah,
I know there's
I'm going
long
to a
hours,
certain team on the East Coast as well.
and Joe Gibbs was. They always like to talk about him sleeping in the office, and you know they're late nights, but you don't have to. You're the man. You don't have to suck up to these 18, 17, 16, 19-year-old kids and do, you know, you're in charge in the NFL. If you
Yeah,
don't like it, you can go, we'll get the next guy in here.
yeah.
But whereas in college, man, these guys, they just up and leave in a hurry. It's
Yeah.
tough. It's
All
a
the new
tough
NIL
industry.
stuff too. I mean, yeah, it can't be easy for them.
I don't know if you guys saw. We also had a high school commitment
I
this
did.
Oh
week.
yeah,
Caden Cook Cash. You gotta love that name,
oh
Caden
yeah.
Cook. Cash.
It'd be Johnny Manziel.
Yeah,
If he
yeah.
finds a way to get in the end zone.
Out of Riverhead, 6'3", 210. I'm gonna call him an athlete. I've been seeing on message
Right.
boards and things where people think he'll actually
hmm
play uh, linebacker potentially. He's gonna have to hit the weight room hard if he wants to. If he's gonna play
What's
linebacker
his
at
weight?
level 210.
210.
Yeah, he's gonna need more than the freshman 15 to play linebacker at the ACC level.
Look,
But watching
I'm
his tape, but I watched the some of his huddle highlights, and he was dominant. And apparently, he played Cam Robinson last year in a game.
Oh oh,
A lot
I
of
didn't know that.
people felt like he got the better of Cam in that game. So, um, great to keep a kid like that in state.
hmm
You know,
As we
so
talked about a few weeks ago.
happy to have him on board.
I
Uh,
gotta bring up basketball for another minute. You know, uh, I had to take a look at Buchanan. Buchanan weighs 215 pounds. What's he,
6'10",
6'11"?
6'10", 6'11",
6'10",
something.
6'11". And we're not gonna reveal my weight, but I'm not there. I'm not where he's at, but I'm 6 foot. And Burns weighs 270 pounds. I mean, good God. 215 pounds at 6'11". I can't even imagine. And, I mean, that's common. Those skinny guys coming in. You had your Sean Bradleys and what's the big guy? Manute Bowl.
Yeah.
It was the one in Washington. Didn't they have one that was crazy, real skinny?
You talking about the Washington Wizards?
Yeah, yeah. I can't think of it. But, I mean, this is common. But,
Yeah.
God knows it. 6'11", 215. We need to get him into the South and put some of them fattening fried chicken and mac and cheese in
Yeah,
his
really.
body and
Damn
fat.
hot.
Take him to the grandparents' house.
Anyway, we want to move on to NFL picks.
Yeah, we
Absolutely,
did
Jay.
before we move on, we did lose one guy to the portal this week, and it was
Oh
actually
yeah.
a guy I was kind of had some promise. He got a
I was gonna say,
Gunlue.
good luck pronouncing it.
Yeah, tough name. But if you remember, he's the guy who got hurt in the Tennessee game. I think he recovered the fumble, defensive lineman, and when he was celebrating,
Celebrate.
he injured
Yeah,
both.
I remember that.
Best wishes to him as he's moving on, looking for another program. That I think that wraps up our week with the portal.
All right, Jay, it's your thing. You want to give the good old recap?
Oh goodness, this one. Jeff, you want to take a turn at this?
I can. Last week as a pod, we were 4-5, so we're a loser as a pod.
Because
Jay,
of
what were you
somebody.
last week?
Oh, I see
I
where
was
this is
2 and
going.
1. I was 2 and 1.
I was 2-1, so that's 4 wins and 2 losses. Oh, what were you, Jack?
You guys know. Everybody that is listening knows what I was.
Jack was 3-0. It just
So he was consistent again. And actually, I wish I had taken my own advice. I shot Jay a text before the Rams game, I think it
Yep.
was. Rams 49ers. I said, Jay, just a heads up. As a reminder, Jack picked the 49ers minus 4 or 5, whatever it was. You might want to go in and lay a bet. Well, Jay took my advice and went and won some money, and I didn't take my own. I should have. But
Well, you also texted Jay before the national championship game saying that I had Michigan in the spread and we should go against that, and that still worked out for me. So
the only difference, Jack, is when we come live in front of our large audience, that's when the pressure's on.
Very
Can you
large.
make picks in front of the pressure? It's easy to tell your dad when nobody's listening. But can you
I
make
told
those
more than you.
picks?
I told people at school. I told my people at the Sportsplex, and
it's
I had
not-
some doubters too. They're like, "Oh,
Not on
Washington's
the
gonna kill him."
podcast.
Is that
Not
on
the
record?
podcast. We have the thousands and thousands of listeners out there, and you felt
Thousands
the
of
heat,
listeners.
and you went 0-3. So this
I like
week
to say, Jeff.
What's
I
that?
like to say the pod actually went 7-2.
That's true. That's true. That's true. If you listen to our advice, opposite of Jack, then we're 7-2.
I'm just like Coach Ed Young from the 757 Saturday Sports Talk, because that used to be a big thing with him last year. Go against Coach Ed Young, and here we are.
Well,
So Jack, is this the week?
No,
What's
no,
that?
no. It's not the week.
Jack,
Okay, if I go, how many games we got this week? What?
six
Six?
games.
If I go, okay. If I go 2-4 or worse this week, next week will be the week. 2-4 or worse, I'll be a man of my word. 2-4 or worse, I will be going opposite next week, and
All
maybe
right.
we'll see if I win.
All right.
Well, so this week we're going to do something a little different. We're going to pick all 6 NFL playoff games. We're given the choice. We gave each other the choice. You can pick the spread, or you can go over under in the game. I can tell you I went all spreads, and we'll see how this all turns out. Jay, what was your first game? Browns and at Texans. The Browns are a 2.5-point favorite, and over under 44.5. What did you have for that one?
So for that one, I took the Texans plus 2.5. I just like Stroud at the quarterback, playing at home against Joe Flacco, who's been just a complete, remodel of himself. Looks like old Joe Flacco that won the Super Bowl before he got the big contract. But I just think that the shoe's not going to fit come Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. And I'll take the Texans. I actually think they win that game straight up.
What you got, Jack?
I'm actually going to go the opposite. I want to take the Browns in the spread, minus 2.5. So I'm sure Jay's feeling extremely confident after me saying that. But I actually think in the opposite way. I think in the heat of the moment in the playoffs, Flacco having that playoff experience can lead his team better. Whereas CJ Stroud, man, I mean, he's just a rookie. You don't know how he's going to take this kind of pressure. But he was able to handle those games in college football, so we'll see what happens. But I like the Browns minus 2.5, Dad.
Well, this one doesn't make me happy, but I did take the Browns as well at minus 2.5. I think it's a good point. It's C.J. Stroud's first ever playoff game. Cleveland's defense is good.
Mm-hmm.
I just like that Cleveland team. I think that Cleveland team
like
can make
it too.
a run.
But here's
And,
the thing, Jeff. Here's the
what's
thing.
that?
He played his first playoff game. Last week was his first playoff game.
No,
It was a win and get it.
I mean, essentially, yeah.
You could say that, but I'm gonna tell you, that Cleveland defense, he missed a couple games late in the year. Stroud did, and he might not make it to the end of this game either. So
That's possible.
Miles
I
Garrett
like that Browns team.
might be killing a man.
Second game, we got Dolphins at Chiefs. Chiefs are a 4-point favorite. Over under is 44.5. Jay, what you got there?
So for this one, I'm attacking the over-under line of 44.5. The Dolphins come in banged up, beat up, probably a little bit disappointed in themselves for losing that game to Buffalo. This game is looking like it's going to be a wind chill of around -10. I mean, that football is going to be a rock. The Chiefs' offense has struggled all year. This is not you hear Mahomes and the Chiefs and you think high flying, high scoring. This is not that team. I think they try to pound Miami into the ground more than a Mahomes game. And so I'm going to take the under 44.5.
Jack, what you got?
I'm gonna take the Dolphins +4. They've struggled a lot towards the end of the season, but I think they can figure it out just for this one game, mainly because of the fact that this isn't the Mahomes team, as Jay just said. I mean, it hasn't been a great year offensively. Weapons have been dropping the ball. Offensive line hasn't been amazing. And we're talking about pounding the rock. I mean, the Dolphins have been able to do that this year. It seems like with I don't. Is Raheem Mostert going to be out or is he playing?
He might play.
I think he's questionable. And
Yeah, I think he
A-Chain,
practiced today.
yeah,
I think he will play. I
I
think
think
he
he's
will.
gonna play.
and Devon I mean, A-Chain's been. So I think if it comes down to who can run the ball better, I think go to the Dolphins. The only thing, and I mean, this could be a small thing that kind of concerns me, is the Dolphins play down south in Florida where it never gets this kind of temperature. The Chiefs can be a little more used to it. However, I don't think it has a factor. I'm going to take the Dolphins +4.
Well, I feel great now because I'm taking the Chiefs -4, and I do think that weather's gonna. I think that weather's major actually. The
Yeah.
Dolphins don't like to come out in the cold like that,
No.
and they just lost to the Bills at home in a game they should have won, but they lost to the Bills at home, and now you got to go to Kansas City. You're already deflated from losing to Buffalo when you had a chance to get the 2 seed and host. Now you got to go to Kansas City, and Kansas City's home field is outstanding. Those fans
Yeah.
are some of the best in the
That's
NFL.
correct.
It's going to be loud, and Tua's going to be a little bit. I see
Rattled.
some mistakes coming from Tua with the noise, offensive line false start.
Just pound the
possibly.
rock.
And the Chiefs' defense has been solid. They've been what's carried this team this year, not their offense. I just think you get to Miami in the cold. They don't want no parts of that. Miami's folding up. This is Kansas City's game now. If Kansas City moves on past that, I don't know, but give me Kansas City -4.
I think
Next
either
one.
way, really quick, just a quick note, I don't think either team would advance past the next round. But who knows? If Miami can figure it out, maybe they could. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Next game we got Steelers at Buffalo. -10 Buffalo, over under 36.5. Jay.
This one was the one I struggled with the most. There was one other game, the Eagle Buck game, I struggled with. I settled on taking the Steelers +10, and I don't have a lot of conviction behind that. I just feel like Mike Tomlin's too good of a coach to get 10 points in the playoffs. And really, for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to trust in Tomlin to have the guys ready to keep it close. I think the Bills do win the game, but 10 is a very high bar in the playoffs. So
Yeah,
give me the
it
Steelers
is.
+10.
What you got, Jack?
Along with Jay myself, I had a tough time picking in this game. I think it's gonna be a good game. But so instead, I decided to go with an over/under. I decided to take over 36.5, and I just high scoring. I think I don't got much of a description. I mean, we'll see what happens. Just hopefully Josh Allen will be firing on all cylinders, and we'll get a lot of scoring. I don't got much on this game. What
Well,
about you
notes out to the public. Go bet the under. I don't know. I would if I was betting the over/under. I'm taking the under there because once again it's going to be cold. We might have snow on the ground, and I'm going with Jay +10 as well. Steelers, only because Buffalo, man, they get me scared. They're a good team, but they just struggle to put teams away, and they'll be driving. And Josh Allen, I love the guy, but he'll throw a pick or get fumble the football, and next thing you know, fumble the ball at your own 20. And now Pittsburgh's got 3, or they've turned it into 6. I think Pittsburgh's going to hang around, but I mean, I think Buffalo's going to win the game, but it's going 6 points, 7 points, something like that. Might be 3, 4, but 10's a lot of points in the playoffs. Especially, I think conditions are probably with the cold. There's probably going to be some kind of a snow or something, scoring becomes a premium in that situation. But I'll take Steelers +10. We got Packers at Cowboys. Cowboys 7.5 point favorite. Jay?
Yeah, over under is 50.5. I just changed this pick. Originally I was going Cowboys 7.5, and I still like that number actually. But I feel like it's on brand for me. I have to take this game being over 50 points. It's just an automatic bet the under for me. It's 12-1 to the under when it's been an over 50. So for that reason, actually, if I was looking at this game, I would see it as a high scoring game and I would pick the over. I'm going on. I just believe in it's a playoff game. So here's the path to under, right? I'm gonna lay out the scenario that gets you to the under. The the teams they move the ball a ton between the 20s and they struggle to get it in the end zone. And maybe the Packers turn it over 3-4 times because Jordan Love's first playoff game, at least that I can recall anyway, that he's played in.
I believe so, yeah.
The Dallas defense is able to force some turnovers, and this game ends up something like 30-17. So you get close to the number, but you stay under.
Jack?
I mean, let's be honest here, guys. We're talking about the Cowboys in round 1 of the playoffs. Give me the Packers plus 7.5. Go, Pack, go. I think they got to keep it within at least one possession, I would think. At least within 7 points. I mean, we're talking about Dak Prescott probably selling the whole game away on the last possession. Let's be honest here. It's the Cowboys. Give me the Packers plus 7.5.
That doesn't make me feel good.
Huh.
I'm taking the Packers plus 7.5. Not a lot of conviction there. Dallas
I
is
got
undefeated.
conviction.
They've won their last 16 home games, I believe, and because of Dallas's playoff history, I say the game's a little closer. There's really why I'm picking it. The game might be a little bit closer. Maybe Dak throws a pick at an important time. I don't know. Some of it's my fandom that wants them to do bad, I'm sure. I'd love to see the Packers win the football game. I don't see that happening at all, but staying with a 7.5, that's just my pick. I think it's a little more hard, but also, Dallas last year they've won playoff games. They just can't get to the big one, and I'm sure they're going to win this one, and they might win by 28. I don't know.
I think they win big.
It's a possibility for sure. But Green Bay's been playing well. They've been playing well, and hopefully they get Aaron Jones going. I mean, you're playing Dallas. You got to run the football against them. Just pound it. Keep the clock moving. Keep the ball out of their offense's hands, because that offense of Dallas is pretty dang good, and Green Bay's defense isn't the greatest. So,
right.
CeeDee Lamb might be going for a big one, and we know he's probably 10 catches, 120 yards. But the question is, can Green Bay score with them? And that's gonna be tough to do.
I mean, you know who else is rolling for Green Bay? Tavion Wicks out of the University of Virginia.
UVA touchdown last week.
He
2
nice
touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm rooting for Wicks right there.
Next one, we got Rams at Lions. Lions 3-point favorites. Jay.
Yeah, this is my favorite game of the week, and the one I feel strongest about. And I see I'm opposite in some people here. So, I love the Rams in this game. +3. I actually like them on the money line, so sprinkle a little on that. I'd say take a half unit on the money line and a half unit on the
for entertainment purposes.
For entertainment
purposes only, obviously.
We're getting into the lingo now.
You have so many storylines in this game with the quarterbacks going back.
Absolutely.
Teams.
It's crazy.
Detroit's first home game in the playoffs, and God, I don't even know when.
Since the Redskins won the Super Bowl.
So very long time. And so I love McVay as a coach. And when they win this game, it's going to set up San Francisco and LA next week. Those two teams tend to find themselves matched up against each other in playoffs. And I just think that they're the better complete team. I mean, the Lions are a good story, and they've got a lot of good players, but Laporta is going to probably not play, and if he does play, he's not going to be the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Rams. Love the Rams. +3.
All right. Jack?
Yeah, so I also had a little bit of trouble with this game. I love, like I said, like Jay said, I love the quarterback matchup going back. I mean, Stafford, this is like what he wanted his whole career with Detroit, and he never got it. And then Goff, I mean, he had the run with the Rams, and here he is now. And I've loved this Lions team all year. I'm probably rooting for the Lions, but I mean, I really think it could go either way, so I don't want to mess with the spread. So I'm gonna go with that over under with the trend of 50s that Jay likes to use. I'm gonna go under 51 and a half. Which I mean, we'll see what happens. I could also see it being a shootout between the quarterbacks. We'll see, but I don't like any pick in this situation, so I'll just take the under 51 and a half, Dad.
Well, I like your pick, I mean, just only because the history of the unders in the 50.
Yeah, that's what I went with. There's no other thing to
It's
go off
been
of.
red 20 times in a row. It's finally hitting black. That wheel. And I'm going to go opposite of Jay, and I'm taking the Lions -3, and I don't have the conviction Jay has. Really, they're the fun story of the year. It is a lot of great storylines.
I love the
Florida not
Lions.
playing is a big deal. But Detroit's been good all year, and the Rams, you know, I know they made it, clinched their playoff spot in week 17 or whatever it was, and so. But I mean, I think what McVay has done with the Rams is outstanding work. I mean, to turn that around after that Super Bowl, how all the money was spent, they kind of have to blow it up, but still, here they
They're
are
right back in the
playoffs
mix of it a
again.
couple years later.
Another reason there's no excuses for the Commanders, but
Yeah.
I'm going to go Lions -3. Not much conviction behind it, but we're picking 6 games. I wouldn't have chosen this game myself.
Yeah. I
We
like
got one game left.
I was just saying I like McVay, but I also love Dan Campbell for the Lions. I've been loving what he's done all year, so go ahead.
Well, we got one game left. We got Eagles at Bucks, and Philadelphia's a 3-point favorite. And Jay, what you got?
Yeah, this is the one I have the least conviction on, and originally I had gone Bucks +3 just because the Eagles have been so bad lately. I thought they'd turn the light switch on at some point, and they have failed to do so. I still believe the Bucks +3 is the side to be on, but I'm going to take under 43.5. Tampa Bay went into a must-win game at Carolina and only put up 9 points. I know the Eagles' defense is probably one of the worst bottom 5 in the league, probably. But I don't trust Baker in the playoffs, even though he's got some weapons and Evans. And I don't trust Baker in the playoffs to come through with a lot of points. But I don't trust the Eagles to score a lot of points right now. They're banged up. I don't know who's going to play for them as far as wide receiver, who's in, who's out. Even Hurts is hurt right now. So give me under 43.5.
Jack?
Yeah. So I'm with Jay. This is a tough game to call. The Eagles have been struggling. I mean, it's been bad for the last month, I guess you could say. But I just think I don't think it's really tough to call, but I think the Eagles do figure it out just this one week. They're gonna have to run the ball some. Jalen Hurts, I just don't know if he could throw the ball. I mean, he could throw the ball, but I don't know if he's gonna be any good. I'm just gonna take the Eagles -3. I don't think they get out of the second round though. Eagles -3 again. I don't got much conviction on this either.
I've got the Bucks +3.
So you're feeling
I think
good.
the Eagles have folded up, and Hurts, he's got a hurt finger, and so he ain't looking to throw the football around too much. And I don't know, the coaching staff is crazy out in Philadelphia. The team finished at 11,
Love it.
12-5, 11-6, and they're
Yeah.
talking. Coach, does he need to keep his job
Right.
after getting to the Super Bowl?
Right.
And the coach is making some drastic moves. Some of the stuff he did during this stretch, and they were what 11-1, 10-1 at one point. 10.
I think they were 10-1. Yeah.
But I mean, and it didn't look good to get to the 10.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of panic on that Philadelphia team, and believe me, I don't see much with Tampa Bay at all. But I think they're going to be. I really think they're going to win. Tampa Bay's going to win the game, but if they don't, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
I don't respect Philadelphia for anything in the world.
Yeah, no, like I
As bad
said,
as the
if they make it
Commanders
out,
were-
I don't think they'll make it out of the second round.
as bad as the Commanders were, we might be able to go into Philadelphia and beat them ourselves here.
We almost
And we
did.
have no business doing it, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Bucks +3, and I feel great on that pick as well because Jack went Eagles -3. So I have to look at the differences between mine and Jack's to see what I'm gonna win this week. So anyway, but Jack may turn around. We'll see. But other than that, I think that's going to wrap it up for us tonight.
Yep.
We're up against it. I got in my ear we got to go to a break, and so we're gonna wrap this one up tonight. Appreciate all the listeners, and Jack, tell them who to follow.
Oh yeah. As always, follow Twitter at Talk UVA Sports. We're gonna go to Facebook, follow the Cavalier Connection. On Spotify, as always, the Cavalier Connection podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a like there at Cavalier Connection podcast. I think I hit them all. Any final thoughts, guys?
Yeah, just to tease it, we got another player interview next week from football. So that's going to be good, and looking forward to that. Great weekend of playoff football. Looking forward to that, and most importantly to this audience, Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock, Virginia at Wake Forest.
Then right after that, we got NFL playoff football.
Let's pull one out, pull off that upset this weekend, and start something new for the season.
Yeah.
Other than that, go Hoos. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep,
Go
go Hoos.
Hoos.